So in the last class, we have seen the analysis of the Klystron amplifier, and in the last expression we have been found the term that is called depth of velocity modulation. Okay, so two more steps left within this. So if we go with this expression and let us do the binomial expansion for this by taking the assumption beta I V1 is less than V0. So what is this V1? V1 is the peak amplitude of the RF input, and V0 it is the cathode voltage. So this depth of modulation, this term within that, this is the coupling coefficient. So this coupling coefficient and multiplying with this RF input, if this quantity is quite lesser than this cathode voltage, then we have been going with the binomial expansion for this expression. So using the binomial expansion, under the assumption of beta I V1 is less than V0. So what is this exit velocity V1t? It can be written as V0 1 plus beta I V1 by twice V0 sine omega t naught plus theta g by 2. This is the equation of the velocity modulation. So how this is the preliminary velocity V0, that is reference velocity. Now depending upon this RF input and this beam coupling coefficient, we have the modification in the exit velocity, that is V1t. It is for T1. It is it is not V1, it is VT1. It should be VT1. That is the time T1, what is the velocity is. So therefore we can write this one as equation of velocity modulation. Or alternatively we can also write that Vt1 at time t1, what is the exit velocity, that is V0 1 plus beta I V1 by V0. If we write with respect to t1, then it should be omega t1 minus theta g by 2. So this is the ultimate expression for the velocity modulation. Now let us see how this bunching occurs, or what is the bunching process. So we have explained how these bunches are occurred because different kind of electrons are been moving with different velocities, and when they are been drifting over the drift space, they are been meet together to form the bunch. So let us see through a mathematical expression how this bunching process going on, or how these bunches occurred. So what we've seen, once the electron leaves that buncher cavity, this first cavity, that drift with the velocity along the fields free space between the two cavities, that drift length L. The effect of velocity produces bunching of electron beam or current modulation. So we have seen the velocity modulation. So what does it mean? Velocity modulation means velocities have been changing. Now what is this current modulation? The electron which have been flowing initially with its reference velocity, now due to this velocity modulation, some bunches have been coming to the second cavity gap. So it larger numbers of electrons have been coming into the bunch, but there are fewer electrons which are been not coming into that bunch. So some oscillation is been created in the second cavity as well. So due to that velocity modulation, some oscillation is been created in the second cavity. That is what is known as current modulation. That oscillation tends to some current which has been coming into the output probe, that is in the coaxial cable. So same RF input which has been given, due to that velocity modulation has been going on in the first cavity while they have been drifting in the drift space. The second cavity, again some oscillation has been created due to the bunches of electron and the electrons which are out of the bunch. So as a whole, some current is been observed in the coaxial cable. So that is what the current modulation is. So the effect of velocity modulation will produce the current modulation or bunches of electron beam. The electron that pass that bunches at Vs is equals to 0. So let me draw that diagram. That will be easy to understand. Let us consider some sinusoidal input has been given. Okay, so in this direction it is Z. Let us consider this is T. This is the length del L. Let us consider this is the length del L. From the this point is the del L from this origin. Here is the at the origin it is the buncher grids are available. So some electrons which are been moving at this potential, some electrons are also moving at this potential, some electrons are also moving at this potential. Same for other, it can move with this as well as this. So the negative potential will makes the electron slower. So this is the time, let us consider Ta. For these electrons, let us consider this is the time, it is Tb, and for this electron there is a time Tc. Let us consider. So this Tc electron at that time, which are the electrons have been coming, they have been accelerated. So we can say it is the faster electron. At Ta, the electrons are decelerated. So we can consider this one as the slower electron. And at Tb, these are the reference electron moving with reference velocity. Okay. Now, while they have been moving at that time period Ta, at time b Tc, let us consider this time, at that time it reaches that point. Let us consider this time is Td, when they have been moving and in the catcher cavity and form the bunch. The time which occurs, the time during which it comes into the catcher cavity grid, that is the time Td. So at time Ta, slower electrons have been moving. At Tb, reference electrons have been moving. At Tc, first order electrons are moving. Now all of them are forming the bunch at time Td when they have been reaching at the catcher gap. So what is that phase value here? It is, we are going to found it will be pi by twice omega. So this is, if we have been starting from this cycle and going up to this, it is the half cycle. It is the buncher grid. I am just coming back to that. This is the location of the buncher grid. This is the distance. This RF signal is V1 sine omega t. This is the total distance from this buncher grid to this del L. This is the distance along the beam from the Buncher cavity, and the beam electrons are have drifted into dense cluster. So they have been drifted into the dense cluster means they have been forming the bunch. I'm just writing at a distance del L along the beam from the Buncher cavity, the beam electrons have drifted into dense cluster, drifted into dense cluster. So within this distance del L, the electrons which are get velocity modulation, they have been drifted into the denser cluster. Means so many electrons are been coming into the same location to form a bunch. They have been drifted into the some location where the numbers of electrons are quite more. So this diagram shows the trajectory of minimum, zero and maximum accelerated electrons. This is the minimum acceleration, this is the zero acceleration, this is the maximum accelerated electron. So it is a minimum accelerated means this is decelerated. This is the reference, this is the faster. So this is the trajectory of the electrons, how they are been moving. Now the distance from the buncher grid to the location of dense electron bunching from for the electron at TB. So I'm just writing the distance from the buncher grid to the location of dense electron bunching for the electrons at TB, at this location, around this reference electron location. So what is that distance? Let us consider that distance is the del L is equals to, it moves with reference velocity v naught, and how much time it takes, TD minus TB, right? TD minus TB time it will take for the reference electron to move to a location where the bunch will form. It is the time period for bunching. It is the time period for bunching. So it takes TD minus TB time. Similarly, for TA and TC electron, what is the total del L distance by covered at which time? So del L will be, for this faster electron, it will be the V minimum. So what it V minimum will be for the slow, it is for the slower electron. So I'm just writing, just have a look on that. V minimum, the V minimum will be there for the decelerated electron. So it will take TD minus TA time. TA, it is TD. So to reach at this location, TD time requires, at TD time, all of them will come to that bunching location. So for this slower electron, the velocity will be the minimum and it takes TD minus TA time. So that is the distance, because all of them are been covering the same distance. One is having faster velocity, one is having reference velocity, one is having slower velocity. But all of them are been coming to the same location, that is the del L distance. They have been covering the same distance del L. So we can write this one as V mean is equals to TD minus I'm just writing this one, this gap. How much it will be if it is the frequency of omega? This part, it is pi by twice omega. This part, it is also pi by twice omega. This is the, this corresponds to this and this value. So altogether it is pi by omega. From this to here. So that can be written as TB minus TB plus, that is, if we write with respect to TA, so it can be TB minus pi by twice omega. Same for this faster electron, V max. It will be TD minus TC. TD minus TC. V max is equals to TD minus, that will be TB plus pi by twice omega. So that will be T is TB minus pi by twice omega. We are taking the reference time for this reference electron. We have been comparing with respect to this reference electron. So these are the conditions for reaching all of the three kinds of electrons to have the distance of del L, that is at the bunching point. Now we have the exit velocity expression. So what is that? T1 is equals to V naught 1 plus V1 by sine omega T naught plus theta g by 2, or we can also write that can be is equals to V naught 1 plus beta I V1 by twice V naught sine omega T1 minus theta g by 2. Either way we can write. So for this expression, if we go with this exit velocity of the electrons, that is at time t1 when they have been coming out of the buncher grid, what will be the minimum velocity, what will be the maximum velocity? Minimum velocity will be the velocity which is been lesser than the reference one. Maximum will be the velocity which is greater than the reference one. So therefore we can write V mean is equals to lesser than this reference velocity. So V naught 1 minus beta I V1 by twice V naught. Okay, and V max, that will be V naught plus this beta I V1 by twice of V naught. So if we substitute this V max and V min in the previous del L expression, so if we substituting in equation in equation 2 and 3, so this del L, that will become V naught TD minus TB V min. So that will be plus V naught pi by twice omega minus V naught beta I V1 by twice V naught TD minus TB minus V naught beta I v1 by twice v naught pi by twice. What we did, we have used the value of v mean and v max on this expression. So similarly, for the maximum velocity, that del L will be covered, will has this expression Td minus Tb plus minus v naught pi by 2s omega plus v naught beta I v1 by 2s v naught Td minus Tb plus v naught beta I v1 by twice v naught pi by twice. Now, what is the necessary condition for all of these three electrons to meet at the same location, that is del L, because we want all the three electrons to move this del L distance at the same time, then only they will form the bunch. This del L distance should be covered by the all the three electrons at the same time. That is, when they will meet at Td time, they should take the same time. So how they will take? Some electrons will have the lower velocity, some electrons is having the first velocity. So someone will take higher time, someone will take lower time, but all of them will reach that del L distance at the same time, that is at the time Td. So how? Because these are the expression for the del L distance being covered by all the three types of electrons, right? So the necessary condition for those electrons at Ta, Tb and Tc to meet at the same distance del L is, what is that? This part should be 0. This expression within this bracket should be 0, because this del L v naught minus v naught into Td minus Tb, it is the del L for the reference electron as well. But this whole expression, it is the expression for the slower electron, this is for the faster electron. To have the distance been covered at the same time, this del L distance, all of the three electrons, this part if we neglect, if we make it 0 somehow, then we can say that all the three electrons are reaching the distance del L at the same time. So this V naught pi by twice omega minus V naught beta I V1 by twice V naught Td minus Tb minus V naught beta I V1 by twice V naught pi by twice omega should be 0, and minus V naught pi by twice omega plus V naught beta I V1 by twice V naught Td minus Tb plus V naught beta I V1 by twice V naught pi by twice omega should be 0. So what we can write? Therefore, Td minus Tb is equals to pi V naught, this capital V naught. If we go with this value Td minus Tb is equals to omega beta 1 beta I V1 minus pi by twice omega. Now, since, understand what we have written here, from this we have been taken or from this we have taken Td minus Tb, Td minus Tb value. So if we take out this Td minus Tb value, we can have this kind of expression. Now since omega is greater than pi, what we can write? We can write Td minus Tb approximately is equals to pi v naught by omega beta I v1, and if this is the Td minus Tb, then this del L can be written as v naught Td minus Tb is equals to v naught pi capital V naught omega beta I capital V1. Okay, so this is the del L which needs to be covered by all the three types of electrons within the time period specified by them, but their reference, their velocity are different. Someone is having higher velocity, someone is having lower velocity, someone is having reference velocity, but all of them are been covering the same distance del L. So if the three electrons are having the different velocity, but they need to reach the same location at the same time, so obviously the del L should be some optimized distance where they all of them are been meeting at the same location to form the bunch. So what is the del L? This is the del L is the optimized value. This del L is the optimized value where they will reach to form the bunch. Okay. Now let us go further for this. So this is the del L which has been covered by the all the three electrons. Now this is the bunching location. Now what is the gap between the catcher and buncher cavity? What that should be to reach those bunches at the catcher cavity when the maximum bunch has been formed. So this is the del L where the all the three electrons should move to form the bunch. Now that bunch, when they will drift in that drift space, at what location they will move to form that bunch or to be captured by the catcher cavity. So the next question is, what should be the spacing between the buncher and catcher cavity? What should be the spacing between the buncher and catcher cavity in order to achieve a maximum degree of bunching? Now, since the drift space is free, the transit time for an electron to travel a distance L what is the transit time? That is T is equals to T2 minus T1. Okay, so this T1 is the exit time. T2 is the entry time at the catcher cavity. So what is the transit time? That is the transit time T2 minus T1. Within this time, they should drift through this field free region and they should reach the catcher cavity. So that is L by VT1. What is that VT1? It is the exit velocity from the buncher cavity. So that can be written as T is equals to T naught. If we put the value of VT1, that can be found out as 1 minus beta I V1 by twice V naught sine omega T1 minus theta G by 2. Let us give equation number 4. Now let us go with the binomial expansion and we'll neglect the higher order terms. Now here, what is this T naught? T naught is L by V naught. It is the DC transit time. DC transit time means this V naught, it is the static velocity, means it is not varying. Neither it is decelerated, neither it is accelerated. So this is the fixed velocity. So that has been considered as the DC transit time. Now we can represent in terms of radians also. So in terms of radians, we can write this omega t is equals to omega t2, that transit time t2 minus omega t1, or we can write omega t0 minus omega t0 into beta I v1 by twice v naught sine omega t1 minus theta g by 2, or is equals to this one omega t naught, it is theta naught, gap transit angle, minus x sine omega t1 minus theta g by 2. Let us give equation number some other equation A, some another kind of equation number A. So what is this theta naught? Where this theta naught is equals to omega t naught, or we can write omega L by v naught, or it is written as twice pi n. It is the DC transit angle between the cavity. Between the cavities. What is this n? N is the number of electron transit cycle. Number of electron transit cycles in the drift space. And this x, it is beta I v1 by twice v naught theta naught, is the bunching parameter of the klystron. Of the klystron. So this is the DC transit angle between the cavities, because it is with respect to the reference electron. N is the number of electron transit cycles in the drift space. So how many transit cycles or how many sinusoidal cycles is required to have this electrons movement in the drift space to reach at the catcher cavity, and this is the bunching parameter of the klystron. Now at the Buncher gap, a charge of, let us consider at the Buncher gap some charges are been passing through at time interval dt naught. At the Buncher gap, a charge, let us consider dq naught passing through so let us consider at the Buncher gap some charge dq naught is passing through the gap at the time interval, at a time interval dt naught. So therefore we can write this dq naught is equals to I naught dt naught. What is this I naught? I naught is the DC current due to this charges within this time period. So from the principle of conservation of charges, this same amount of charge dq naught also pass through the catcher cavity at the later interval of time, because whatever the charges has been passing from this Buncher cavity, same amount of charges are also been passing through the catcher cavity. From the principle of conservation of charge, this same amount of charge dq naught also passes the catcher cavity at a later time interval dt2. So what we can say, that DC current which has been available at the Buncher gap due to the charges dq naught within the time period dt naught, that same current will now available at the catcher cavity as the AC current I2. That I naught is the DC current. This is because of the electron beam which has been coming from the cathode. Now when they have been going out of the Buncher cavity, been velocity modulated, now they will form the alternating current in the catcher cavity, because at different amount, at different time, different interval of time, some bunches are been arrived or some electrons without bunch are been arrived at the catcher cavity. So this is the DC current, now it becomes the AC current at the catcher cavity at time dt2. Let us give equation number B. So this mod value have been given because we need to consider the absolute time. If there is any negative current occurs, that should not have the any effect. Okay, so we have been considering that the current has been having the same movement, same directional movement. There is no current moving in the opposite direction on the walls of that cavity. So these mods have been given by taking into consideration that there should not be any negative current. Negative current means there should not be any opposite directional movement of the charges. So this current I2 is the current at the catcher gap. Now this T2, that can be written as T1 plus T. So what is that T? T is the total time required for the electrons to move through this drift space. T1 is the exit velocity of the Buncher cavity gap. T2 is the entrance, that's at the entry point. What is the time? That is the T2. So total time period is T2 minus T1. There are two gaps. There are two cavities. there are two cavities. So this is the time t naught, this is t1, this is your t2, this is your t3. So this is the drift space L. So the time period for traveling this distance L, it is the t2 minus t1. So t1 is the exit velocity of that Buncher cavity, T2 is the entry point, the time where when they have been entered into the catcher cavity. So this T2, that the time when they have been entering into the catcher cavity, that is T1 plus T. So that can be written as T naught from this point plus tau plus T naught into 1 minus beta I V1 by twice V naught sin omega t naught plus theta g by 2 5. So how we have written this one? This T2, that T2 is equals to, for this point I am just writing how we have did this line. T2 is equals to T1 plus T. So what is the expression of that T? T is the expression of this thing. So T1 plus, this is the expression for T, T naught 1 minus beta I V1 by 2s V naught sin omega t naught, or we can write omega t1 theta g by 2. Now if we use tau is equals to t1 minus t naught, putting tau is equals to t1 minus t naught, the time required or the time period for which the electrons have been available in the gap, that is t2 is equals to t naught plus tau plus t naught 1 minus beta I v1 plus v naught sin omega t naught plus omega tau theta g by 2. So t naught plus tau, that is your t naught beta I v1 by twice v naught sin omega t naught. So what is this omega tau? That is the transit angle in the Buncher cavity gap, that is theta g minus theta g by 2. Therefore t naught plus tau t naught beta I v1 by twice v naught sin omega t naught plus theta g by 2. Okay. Now from this expression, from this equation, that is for omega t, we can also find out the expression for this omega t as from equation A, that omega t is equals to omega t2 minus omega t1. Omega t2, if we put the value of this t2 here, so okay, let me write about this t1 first. Omega t naught minus omega tau. So what is this omega t? It is theta naught minus x sin omega t1 minus theta g by 2, or we can write that omega t2 minus theta naught, we are taking there, minus omega tau is equals to omega t naught minus x sin omega t naught plus omega tau minus theta g by 2. we are using this value, omega t naught minus this x, omega t1 is been written as t naught plus tau minus theta g by 2. So substituting theta g is equals to omega tau, we can take out as omega t2 minus this omega tau is equals to theta g. This omega tau is equals to theta g. So this one theta naught minus theta g omega t naught minus x sine omega t naught plus theta g minus theta g by 2. Let us give this one as equation number C, or we can write omega t2 minus theta naught plus theta g by 2. If you take out half theta in the right hand side, that will be omega t naught plus theta g by 2 minus x sine omega t naught plus theta g by 2. This one will be theta g by 2, number D. So what is this omega t naught plus theta g by 2? Is the Buncher cavity departure angle. This one is the Buncher cavity departure angle, omega t naught. This is the omega t naught plus theta g by 2. So what is this theta g? Theta g is the omega tau. What is this tau? Tau is the t1 minus t2, t1 minus t0. So if this omega t naught plus theta g by 2 means, you can consider at the midpoint, that is the Buncher cavity departure angle, and this omega t2 minus theta g omega t2 minus within bracket theta naught plus theta g by 2 is the catcher cavity arrival angle, theta naught. Theta naught is the time period to drift through this length L plus theta g by 2 within this half at the middle, theta g by 2, half of the total time required in the gap. So t2, this is the t2 minus this length plus theta g by 2. So that is the time when this electron beams are been appearing at the catcher cavity. So we can say omega t naught plus theta g by 2 is the Buncher cavity departure angle, and omega t2 minus theta naught plus theta g by 2 is the catcher cavity arrival angle. One is departure and there is arrival. Now if we do the differentiation of this equation 5 with respect to t naught, if we differentiate this equation 5 with respect to t naught, then we'll have differentiating equation 5 with respect to t naught, that is your dt2 is equals to dt naught minus beta I v1 by twice V naught, T naught. This first one will be constant, so that will be neglected. Omega, sin omega t will become cos. Omega cos omega t naught plus theta g by 2 into d t naught, right? It is t naught into this thing. So this tau is also constant. This t naught will also constant. Only the variation with respect to this sign. So therefore we can write this dt2 is equals to dt naught minus, that is 1 minus, if we take this dt naught common, x cos of omega t naught plus theta g by 2, since x is equals to beta I v1 by 2 v naught omega t naught, or we can write beta I v1 by 2 v naught theta naught. Omega t naught is the theta naught. Now if we substitute this dt2 in this equation b, substituting dt2 in equation b, that is I naught d t naught is equals to I2, it is a function of t naught, d t naught 1 minus x cos omega t naught plus theta g by 2. So what is this I2, which is a function of t naught? It is I naught 1 minus this dt naught t naught will get cancelled, 1 minus x cos omega t naught plus theta g by 2. Now it is with respect to the time when it enters the Banchar cavity. Now what will be the current when it enters at the catcher cavity? In terms of T2, that is I2 T2, that will be I naught 1 minus x cos omega t naught plus theta g by 2, that is 1 minus x cos omega t2 minus omega tau minus omega t naught plus theta g by 2. We are replacing this omega t naught by I naught by this thing, or we can write 1 minus x cos omega t2 minus, this is theta g, this is your theta naught plus theta g by 2, numerator is your I naught, or we can write 1 minus x cos omega t2 minus theta naught minus theta g by 2 I naught. So where t2 is equals to, what is that, t naught plus tau plus capital T naught, the time at which it enters the catcher cavity. So it takes the drift space length, how much time it takes to travel that drift space length. It has started from T naught plus tau. Tau is the gap, that Banchar cavity gap. So therefore we can write this one as omega t2 is equals to omega t naught plus omega tau plus omega t0, that is omega t naught theta g plus theta naught. Okay, so let us conclude up to this.